G'day folks, I'm Jami Prairie. I'm in the Barossa Valley, South Australia. I am a massive fan of Brentford Bees, West London superstars. I'm on the Drunkard United football show with the two Sams because, let's face it, something's got to make them look good. Cheers from here, and you're listening to the Drunkard United football show.
You know what? She's absolutely right. Someone has to make us look good. And you can't be mean this time. You want to be mean, but you can't.
I cannot be. You're absolutely right.
Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Huston.
Sam Huston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malort. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, Season 4. A completely biased recap of the English Premier League is told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Huston, and across the way from me is the well-rested but back to the daily grind, Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing?
Didn't do a lot of resting on vacation, actually.
Did a lot of drinking.
Did a ton of drinking. After tonight, I think I won't be drinking again until Arsenal take the field on Sunday.
Oh, somebody gonna take a little break, huh?
Need to take a little break, give the liver an old rest.
Heard. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Sam, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. We are at DU Football Show on all of your social media platforms, as well as dufootballshow@gmail.com you can use to get in touch.
Got to say, big shout out to everybody at Regional with the Baltimore Toffies. Got to hang out with them on Saturday. Someone stopped me as we walked out the door, said they were a huge fan of the show. Unfortunately, you got me as I'm walking out the door. Next time, talk to me during halftime, mate, so I can actually get your name and chat with you a little bit. I'll be back there again. And on Sunday, I was at the West Ham and Newcastle match at the Abbey in Fells, which is the West Ham bar.
Yes.
And obviously you're at the Federal Hill location, and the Newcastle supporters are at the Mount Vernon location of the Abbey. So a lot of fun there. Met a guy, Drew, and his wife never got his wife's name. Unfortunately, she never introduced herself other than we were chatting and stuff. But great time. Everybody was awesome. I put up some videos of the West Ham supporters singing Forever Blowing Bubbles,
yeah,
which was a lot of fun. So, yeah, enjoyed it. And going to do more of that. Going to try to, as long as COVID allows us, we're going to get out there and try to catch a few more matches while we can.
Yep. Big Daddy COVID, watching overs.
Before big old impending doom comes.
That's right. Is what's her name? Dean Trunchbull from Matilda.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, what are we enjoying today?
So we have a G&T.
Keeping with the gin binge.
Because it is still warm outside. A little too warm for the old whiskey.
It's still warm in here.
No shit. So with this one, we've got Prairie's cucumber mint lime gin, flavor gin. It is going to run you somewhere between $29.99 and $35.99 on the shelf. And it is exceptional, in my opinion. It's completely organic. They own the farm where they grow everything they need to produce the gin. And it is delightful. I really enjoy it. 80 proof, so it's not overbearing. Yeah. Not super juniper heavy. It is a little dry. But the cucumber and mint for me, stand out. It's nice and refreshing, and it's very good.
Yeah, for the tonic, I gave it the citrus flavored tonic from
Citrus Fever Tree. Yep.
Yeah, and gave it a little cucumber wheel as well because we fancy like that. But you hit the nail on the head when you said it's kind of doesn't have a ton of juniper going on. This is definitely a gin to try if you go, ooh, I hate gin because it tastes like a Christmas tree. This is exactly the gin you want to try. That's for damn sure.
Yes.
Quite lovely and refreshing.
Yeah, it's delightful. It is delightful. So just remember to drink responsibly, everybody, of course.
Oh, my God. He remembered to do it. How
Only
about
took me
that?
3 fucking years to get it down.
Amazing. All right, let's get into it, kids.
That knocked my cucumber wedge off. I was fancy.
I was just saying, not our best production on the Clinkies there, was it?
We're a little rusty on that.
In the city of Manchester, you couldn't have asked for a better start for United, and you couldn't have asked for a more frustrating start for City. Man United 5, Leeds 1, Tottenham 1, Manchester City 0. The Roses rivalry did not disappoint.
No, it did not. The game was all over the place, honestly. Leeds were good value going forward, but they were a bit disorganized in the center of the park, and that showed. It allowed Paul Pogba, obviously, with 4 fucking assists, to pretty much dominate play through the midfield. Calvin Phillips was a huge miss for Leeds in this game.
Right there on my notes says, Leeds overmatched in the midfield without Phillips.
Exactly. It was rough. Rough watching. And their defense just seemed a bit disorganized. I'm not sure. Didn't see a lot of that last season. Most of the goals scored against them were because they were very organized, but they were running forward. They were, just trying to overload on the wings, and they just kind of left their defense a little stretch. Pogba completely unpicked this defense a few times. There was a Mason Greenwood, Dane James a few times, just peeled off defenders and made very intelligent runs that Lee just didn't seem to be able to keep up with.
Got to tell you, that is a problem that needs to be fixed very quickly by Manchester United. He is on the last year of his deal. You need to hurry up, and even if it's just for 1 year, right? Lock him up. Just lock him up for one. So even if the plan is to sell him at the end of the season, keep him happy. Let him keep doing that. Because it can become a distraction real quick. And that's the good Pogba. That's the Pogba you want.
Well, the other thing is he'll play like this for a couple of months, right? And then we'll be nearing the transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the Real Madrid rumors spark up. All the, that kind of stuff goes nuts. And he starts playing a bit shit. Please sell me, please sell me, please sell me. He's distracted. His head's turned, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Real Madrid don't have any fucking money. There's no chance he can go there.
Hence,
he also isn't going to be able to play under Zinedine Zidane, who's no longer at that club, obviously.
Hence why you have to figure out getting him signed for 1 year, because if you don't get him moved by the end of January, he's on a free.
He's on a free. And we'll invariably end up at PSG, obviously.
And then the distraction becomes, where's Pogba going?
Right.
Every single match, to the point where you would have to literally just not use him.
Right.
Bench him, not even make him part of the 25-man squad. Just don't even use him. Oh.
Yeah, I'm with you. To totally agree. But it's just funny to see the place he obviously wants to go is broke. He had a disappointing Euros, so even then his value probably would have been a little bit depreciated.
Yeah.
The COVID market anyway, his value would have been depreciated.
Yep.
And all of a sudden he comes out firing like this. Just kind of all, kind of adds up funny.
Yeah,
for
it
me.
does.
You know what I mean?
It really, really
But
does.
I still don't know. I mean, his passes in particular were very, very good. Other than that, I don't know how much of it was United being good versus, because I don't think Bruno Fernandes's goals really were particularly good goals.
He made a good run. Pogba put the ball right on his foot. One time Lindelof put the ball right on his foot. He put it in the back of the net. Did exactly what you're supposed to do.
No, right. They just weren't overly spectacular. They weren't
Right.
overly difficult chances. One of them was actually a little lucky, to be honest.
I think the pass that led to the goal was more
Right.
impressive.
But I just
than the goal
wonder how
itself.
much it was Leeds not being very good versus Manchester United being very good on being an intrinsically good team.
Yeah, got it.
Is my question. I mean, even fucking Fred scored me.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you can't really look at yourselves and say that was a great day at the office.
and what's funny is the best goal of the entire match
Was Luke Ayling.
was Ayling's. Absolutely Luke Ayling's.
Brilliant. No
He-
goalkeeper in the world saving that. That was fantastic.
You for United, this is exactly the start you wanted. For Leeds, you dust yourself off and you move on to the next opponent, because the next opponent's at home for the first time in the Prem with fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big fucking deal.
It's a big time deal.
You lose
Huge.
that one, then you have questions. But
Yeah.
this one, you chalk it off to being, hey, we didn't have all the right pieces in the places, and it's them, and that's just how it went. It's what it is.
But you had to keep your eyes on this match too. I mean, what was it? An equalizer was Luke Ayling's goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then 14 minutes. I was helping Carly with the baby while
Yeah.
we were on vacation, right, watching this game. And
1-1 to 5-1.
I walked into the other room to grab like a diaper and wipes. Came back 2-1. I sneezed 3-1.
Yeah.
I went to grab, make a bottle for the baby 4-1. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why can't I see any goals? So it was pretty good watching the highlights back and seeing all the goals I did miss. It was pretty good. Mason Greenwood's finish was exceptional as well.
Excellent. Let's move on to the next one. That was actually quite boring, wasn't it?
There was some decent football played, but once everyone reached the final third, it was shit.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of build up. It was all foreplay, no sex, this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and yes, producer Mel.
Well, I was just saying, all foreplay, no sex. That's because Jack don't fuck no more.
Her Jack don't fuck no more.
It was actually kind of fun watching your ex not score and not win. If he didn't want to win, he could have stayed with Aston Villa.
2 games now. No wins for Jack Grealish in a City shirt.
I was saying, Mel, I was going
That's
to tell
$50
you,
million a loss.
Mel, your instincts were correct when you were hovering your finger over the mute button. You press it. That's what you do. You just go ahead and press it. So go ahead and hit that mute button.
Right
all right?
here? Is this
Yeah.
the button?
Yeah. Hit it.
Yeah, now these in my notes, what I have here is that there were chances for both sides. Nothing too terribly clear cut. And then Son finally decided remembered that there were children in the stands that needed him to inspire them. So he scored, which was a brilliant hit from him. But really, the game didn't offer much. It was one of those kind of old school chess matches, if you will, where the big six would always, the traditional big six, would not really try to go after it. Everybody would be kind of tentative. It'd be kind of cagey. And the goal is to not lose.
Right.
I thought it was very funny. The conundrum of Pep Guardiola trying to become the Harry Kane team, but then lost to Harry Kane's team without Harry Kane in it.
Right.
So that was very funny. And then, but maybe this is, hey, look, we lost the first game of the season. One of the memes that was shared in the group today, Sheikh Mansour, will you please write me a 200 million pound check, please?
Yes, I need that now. Thank you.
Yeah, we very obviously need a center forward.
100 million for the player, another 100 million for hair plugs and nose breathing lessons.
Exactly.
So, few things. First off, it was a lovely goal from Son. I didn't necessarily need to think that we need to talk about his inspiration and work for the children and what a nice person he is for 10 fucking minutes afterwards. But apparently the commentary team felt very obliged to let everybody know what an inspiration to the children fucking Son is.
He's just such a happy guy.
Such a happy guy, except for when he's getting red cards and injuring people, which he's done multiple times. But that's not the worry about. It's the children, Sam.
You're right, because there was only one injury last year, and it was fucking Jordan Pickford injuring Virgil van Dijk. Okay?
Yeah, that's
the
right.
only tackle last year that mattered.
Yep, that's it. The only one that mattered. No other tackles mattered. I believe I remember listening to cover a commentary of an Everton match where Andres Gomez was on the pitch. They talked about his injury and then somehow worked in Van Dijk's injury and that Son was a nice guy while talking about Andres Gomez's injury. That's the trifecta right there. I mean, that's what we live for. It's moments like that.
Absolutely. It's brilliant.
Team responded really well to Nuno, and Nuno put out a Christmas tree kind of formation and had Dele Alli a little bit back. He wasn't as far forward, and the guy hustled and ran and played.
He's barely played football for a year.
It's amazing what happens when you get rid of the manager that just fucking slaps you in the face every morning.
Well, just think about it. I was listening to a few pundits today even, and what a damning indictment really on Jose Mourinho's management. I mean, if you take that back line, players that consistently made mistakes under him, players that are old and creaky in terms of Eric Dyer especially, but and then they keep a clean sheet against the champions.
Right.
Like,
right.
It just, to me, it's strange how Mourinho operates, and I'm kind of glad he's fucked off to Roma. Honestly, I was getting a bit bored of it. It made for great fun for us. Obviously, we have a couple of sweet sound drops.
Like we say in Portugal, bread is bread and cheese is cheese.
And shit is shit. And I'm glad you're gone, honestly.
Now, a couple of points of these are going to coincide together. First off, Kane who, and secondly, you can have all the midfield and width and individual talent in the world. If the guy you're putting the ball into is Fernand Torres, you're not going to win games. Like, City has to get Kane, right?
It's kind of like my fantasy team, because that's who I had people whipping balls into on my fantasy lineup and got fucked.
I think they just kind of went, we're not even going to mark him. We're just going to make sure we shut down the wings because he ain't going to score. We dare you. Please, go ahead. Go for it. I dare you.
Well, there was the issue because at the tail end of last season, he was scoring a fair amount of goals. Some of them spectacular goals as well. Good hits. But based on this evidence of just this one game, obviously, which is kind of unfair, but he seems to have a case of the Timo Werners, which that was the funniest picture I saw over the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
It was him, Thiago Silva, and Christian Pulisic holding the Champions League trophy and looking at the camera, and Timo Werner is very obviously staring at about a 45-degree angle away from the camera lens, and the caption of the photo was, "For fuck's sake, Timo, he missed the camera too." Which is
I
brilliant.
could love it. Love it. Could we be in for another slow start from City like we had last season?
If they don't get Harry Kane, I think so. They seem a little stale. That the midfield, I think, could do with a shakeup. Fernandinho was in there again. I don't know. I know Rodri took part in the Euros, and I know a lot of that Spain team went on to go and went very far to the final in the Olympics as well.
Yep,
they were very
absolutely.
very young side, but they need a shakeup. They need something to replace what they lost in Sergio Aguero.
Yeah.
If only even just as an ominous figure, an attention taker.
Do you think that's Kane?
I think Harry Kane has scored a lot of goals for them. I also wonder if him and De Bruyne, I told you this, I wonder if they can play together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's one that likes to drop deep. And Kevin De Bruyne is not really one that likes to run beyond.
Right.
He likes to sit back and occasionally arrive late in the box or whatever, but he's not one to really overlap or do any of that kind of stuff. He likes to sit back and dictate play more like Mesut Ozil did. And he's very good at it. He's probably the best in the world at it. But Harry Kane likes to drop deep. So who's De Bruyne kicking the ball to then? Who's going to be there as that outlet?
Yeah.
I think Kane can, but he's going to have to adapt to that system.
Here's the next question and the last one for this segment then. If City has a slow start, can they recover like they did last year? Will this league let them like they did last year?
Everybody has improved. United, obviously. Chelsea, obviously. If Tottenham lose Harry Kane, I don't think they'll be as much of a force, but obviously they are still somewhat of a force. It's going to be tough. If they drop too many points, if they find themselves 10 points adrift like they did last season by the middle of October, I think you may be able to write them off this year.
Welcome back to the Prem newly promoted sides. One wins in euphoric manner, one gets a rude welcome back, and another one learns the valuable lesson as they almost fuck it right off. Brentford 2, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 3, Norwich 0, Watford 3, Villa 2. You're just happy this wasn't the opening game we were talking about, right, Sam?
Yeah. It was...
Fairy tale for the bees, by the way.
It was special.
Fairy tale.
It was special. This was obviously the first game on the Friday night of the opening game of the Premier League season. And this was everything that was right with football. I didn't mention it because I wanted to mention it now in contrast to this. But the ugliness of football was the aftermath of the Roses Derby. I don't know if you saw the mass rioting that took place after between and fighting, basically brawling between the Leeds supporters and Manchester United supporters. Basically, anything that wasn't attached to the ground was being thrown. For all of that nonsense and cuntiness, you now have this, which brought me to tears. First time in the Premier League ever. 75 years since they've been in the top flight. First time fans have been in that stadium. Their brand new ground they weren't allowed in last year.
Right.
And then also the last 18 months, just in general, the release of emotion, seeing fans in grounds again, right? The rendition of Hey Jude that they chant for Brentford.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Instead of saying Hey Jude, say Brentford.
Say Brentford. Yeah, it was beautiful. It really was. I called my daughter out of the pool to tell her to come look at this.
Yeah.
You know, it was, and I don't know if it's just my emotion over the last year or if I really think what it is I didn't appreciate what we all had until it was gone.
Right.
You know, we took it for granted. And that's why I think you saw every ground sell out. Arsenal pressed. They had chances in the game. The support for Brentford never wavered from their fans, and it spurred them on. We never got going. Aubameyang and Lacazette were ill.
Huge misses.
Big time.
Huge. It lets you know exactly how important they are going to be to this team this season.
Well, we had part of the problem, too, is we had very young Balogun up front by himself. And until Saka came on, Smith Rowe was trying to carry the load all on his own.
Yeah.
And can't do that. He's not an out-and-out goal scorer, Emil Smith Rowe. Balogun's only played for us 6 times for the senior team, and most of those appearances were in the Europa League. He had a cameo here or there in the Premier League last season, but he has no experience. He's primed to go out on loan. Eddie Nketiah, who has a lot of first-team experience, injured. So it was difficult. Our forward line is not the same as it's going to be. Saka, obviously, late coming back. He's only been in training for a week, just got 30 minutes.
He'd be starting over Martinelli.
Absolutely. Or even on the other side, because Pepe was toothless. I thought Martinelli looked lively, just didn't have the finishing.
Right.
And the rumors were he had a knee injury. Rumors were he wasn't going to be back until the start of September. But he started the game. Like, it's all very strange. Ben White, I thought looked okay in the opening 20, 30 minutes and then became a little anonymous. Well, he should be anonymous. He's a defender. We shouldn't rest all our hopes on that. But even he looked like a scared boy when that goal went in, with the second goal went in from the long throw. It was just like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, it just looked sloppy, and it didn't look. I'm sorry, rephrase that. Not that it looked sloppy. It didn't look focused. Mm-hmm. Plenty of talent on the pitch, but nobody seemingly really paying attention.
Yeah, it didn't
to what was going on.
It also didn't look like we had a game plan.
Or paying attention to the energy of the other side.
Well, there you go. That's the other thing.
Wait, we're in their building. It's 75 plus years. This is the first game in this building. Maybe we should take this a little more seriously. Maybe we need to play with a little more intensity. Maybe we need to knock one or two of them on their ass hard.
I mean, honestly, it was the most
and
Arsenal performance ever of modern Arsenal. It's everything that I lament and bitch about week after week after week all happened at once.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Brentford were very good.
You know what it was? It was this mix of Leeds and Blackpool, except for they defended too.
Yeah.
Like there was this full out throttle of assault, but there was a very mindful back four and spine to the team of, we're going to let you have possession, but you ain't doing much with it.
Yeah.
You're going to pass it around the flanks and you're going to look around and you're going to make this little U around the pitch for a half an hour. And then you're going to fuck up and we're going to make you pay.
Well, and they did ruthlessly. I mean, they were energetic. They were all over the place. Ivan Toney played like a man possessed. Mm-hmm. They were everywhere. No Arsenal player had time on the ball. You know, it wasn't like they were hurried. They had all this time and space and decided to do nothing with it. They were hurried. Mm-hmm. Brentford were right on their ass every time. It's really frustrating because I am happy for Brentford. I do want Brentford to stay up. I just did not want them to start with 3 points against us, obviously.
I understand if I would if Everton was in that situation, we lost to them 2-0 in their first game back up, I'd be very frustrated with my team, but I'd also be kind of happy for Brentford.
Yeah,
You know,
it's hard for me to. I'm very angry at my team, but at the same time, I can't be very angry just in general.
They're singing "Hey Jude" at the end, and there's a 60-year-old man singing the song, and tears are pouring down his face because that man probably never thought in his lifetime that he would see his club in the Premier League, let alone beating Arsenal in their new stadium in the first match of the season.
Exactly. There was an 85-year-old man.
How can you not like that shit? The guy crying his eyes out.
There's an 85-year-old man there that they showed a few times on camera.
We may be talking about the same person. I made him a little younger.
Okay, yeah, but he was there 75 years ago at the final game in the top flight with his dad.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then he was there at this point. It was beautiful. I mean, you can't be mad at it. That's the struggle I'm having because I'm fucking annoyed, but you can't be mad at it. It's a beautiful story. And,
You can't be.
And well done to the Bees. What doesn't help us is our next 3 games are like City, Chelsea, and Spurs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. You have it tough. I don't know why she's taking a picture of herself with a shot of Malort when
it's
that
my
shot of Malort's for you.
for me, yeah.
I'll say, if you're a new listener to the show, by the way, we all have a gentleman's and ladies agreement amongst
Hey,
us.
wait a sec. So did Harry Kane. I don't have to do this.
Yeah, okay, fuck off.
He had a gentleman's agreement to leave.
No, you're
Daniel
gonna drink
Levy
it.
said, fuck your gentleman's
Yeah.
agreement.
And I'm a tyrant. Do your fucking shot. You have to do a shot of Malort if your team loses. And if you're not familiar with Malort is considered the world's worst alcohol. And it is, as I like to describe it, if earwax threw up.
It sucks.
So, Sammy, as you do your shot of Malort, why don't you go ahead and tell us your thoughts?
Up the Bees. Oh, God.
Yeah, pretty terrible, huh?
Yep. 3 years in and it doesn't get any easier.
You know what the good news is, Sam? You're not the only one doing one this segment.
Yeah, fair enough. That's true.
Big 3 attackers score. Obviously, Mane doesn't, but Jota, Firmino, and Salah all score. Your stalwart in the back is back in Van Dijk, and your keeper pitches a shutout and makes a brilliant save at the end of the match. I mean, if you are Liverpool, exactly what you fucking wanted.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is exactly how you want to start the season.
Yeah, 100%. They were lively. They were energetic. I thought Norwich actually gave them a decent game for the first 20, 25 minutes.
The bulk of the game, they played him fairly well. I mean, at the end, Allison had to make one hell of a fucking save to hold on to that shutout, and Norwich kept knocking. They weren't backing down.
Yeah, absolutely. But once Liverpool made that breakthrough, things got a bit easier for them, and they were much easier to take over the rest of that game and go on to score. Mohamed Salah becomes the first player to score in 5 consecutive opening days for Liverpool Football Club, and it was just a comprehensive, very easy win.
Yeah, for Norwich, you have to just forget about it. It's short-term memory. On to the next week, and unfortunately, from the next week is City.
Yeah,
but you can't let those games wear you down because those aren't the games that are keeping you in the Prem.
correct. You can almost write them off. I mean,
Just play well. We looked good, which they did for the most part. They played their asses off. Be done with it.
Yep.
I have one thing I've got a little bit of concern about.
All right.
Klopp without glasses. I'm not sure if I like
I don't
this.
like it. It made me very uncomfortable.
I'm not sure if I'm okay with this.
Somebody shared a video on DUFC of the which, by the way, Drunkard United FC is our closed group on Facebook. Find that hashtag bants all over the place. It's a lot of fun. But somebody shared a video of football looky-likies. Probably a compilation Sean Dyche put together. But one of them was Jurgen Klopp, this guy that was standing outside taking photos with people in a full Liverpool tracksuit. Down to he had the same glasses that Klopp had, that kind of like almost white plastic or like
Warby
see-through.
Parker. Warby Parker glasses.
Okay, yeah.
That's exactly what he
All
wears.
right. So is that like a 1950s cartoon or something?
No, Warby Parker is a eyeglass company that makes these very thick frame glasses that have like these little divots in the middle. They're
only
very
for
annoying.
cool kids. That's why you don't know about it.
It is what hipster douchebags wear without a prescription behind a bar to look swanky.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. But he looked more Jurgen Klopp than Jurgen Klopp did on Saturday.
Love it.
The looking like a guy from the video.
It was weird. It was weird. Klopp did walk over to the away section and was clapping him, and I saw him actually put his hand down like he was about to do the 3 pump, and then went, "Oh wait, not my park. I probably shouldn't do this here."
Yeah.
Hey, that's great. Better than the times that you run out in the middle of the pitch when you score
while
a
the
goal.
game is still fucking happening. Yeah.
I really not much else to say. Norwich, let's just see how they do against the teams around them. Honestly, great to see Sargent on the pitch, the American. I'm certainly rooting for him. I thought he had good minutes. Again, this would be an Oso match if it wasn't for the fact that I was doing all 3 of the teams together, because it's exactly what you expected to happen.
Well, 100%. But collectively, even if we take the first 5 games and leave Arsenal out of it because we were missing our quote-unquote key guys, it's exactly what you wanted from, well, obviously not from City, but from United, from Spurs, and from Liverpool. And I'm sure we'll come on to what happened at Chelsea here shortly. But if you take those games in microcosm, it is exactly the perfect start.
Yeah.
Your biggest player in Bruno Fernandes, hat trick. Your equally bigger player, Paul Pogba, 4 fucking assists. Mason Greenwood, a goal. Mo Salah, goal and 2 assists. Firmino, goal. Diogo Jota, you spent $25 million on, goal. Yeah, it's Son taking the place of Harry Kane in the center of the park. Goal. It's exactly what you fucking want.
You'll be detecting a theme later on when we go on to more games just like that, like Chelsea and like Everton.
Well, that's
exactly what you want.
Exactly what you want is your big players stepping up from the off. They came to play. They were all fucking ready, which makes me more depressed about my own boys.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well,
now let's get on to more depressive shit.
Well, it's time for somebody to unhit their mute button because now they have to be held accountable. Jack who? Jack what? Villa Fox?
You're not saying McGinn correctly.
Oh, okay. Heard. Very good.
Lovely goal.
Oh, my God. Was it ever?
Fuck. Introduce the game so we can talk about that.
Let me start with this. Perfect start for Watford. I mean, an amazing first half.
Almost fucked up my fantasy admin situation, though, dickheads.
Oh, I know. Kept it going the entire time, right? I mean, just on fucking fire, right? And then at about the 68th, 69th minute, decide to completely fuck it off.
Yep.
Start making reckless fouls, they almost, I mean, this is a valuable lesson to Watford. Hey, just because you weren't getting scored on in the championship doesn't mean you won't get scored on in the fucking Prem.
That should have been a valuable lesson from their last 3 months in the Premier League.
Right.
a little over a season ago. Honestly, 'cause they did the same thing then. They gave a great game till 20 minutes. As soon as they conceded, fuck it.
I'll admit, I do. I'm not normally much for the yellow and black style jersey, but with the Sharpie logo, they're pretty fucking tight. Their kits this year are pretty fucking tight.
Meh.
So what do you think, Mel? What do you think about your boys?
Looking at the Facebook group, the Villa North America, they're all doom and gloom, and we're shite without Jack. And Lindsay and I were texting. That would be Your Highness to you, gentlemen.
Yes, we know this. I address her by her government name.
We're not worried. It's going to take some time for the boys to get used to playing with one another. We saw a lot of progress. The coach has got to coach, manager. Dean's got to figure out the right formula and the right combination of people. Prairie came in my opinion, really late in the game, but you could feel a different energy and a different uniformity once he came on the pitch. And I think we're going to have a decent season once everybody learns one another and just starts gelling.
I think Traore definitely starts over El Ghazi for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they were just given a little bit of a break, but you could see with Bailey on the one side, Traore on the other, and then Benny in the middle from the Norwich guy.
And the Jets at the back.
Yes.
Hey.
With
Watford
Watkins
goals
or
were
East
good.
in front of them, decent. The other big one for them, you're starting Marvelous Nakambo because you don't have Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a big fuck miss.
Absolutely.
He's a huge.
Well,
I mean, he covers a lot of things. The easy mistakes that the defense were making are normally covered by Luiz being in those spaces to not allow that to happen.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless, still very shaky and ugly from Villa.
The other piece was I think Konza is a little slow to get up to speed for the start of the season.
Right.
I think he looked a little bit off the pace. That will be rectified. He's a very good defender.
Yeah.
Tyrone Mings, obviously having the
That would be Captain Mings to you then.
being away with England. Yeah. Now, this was the other point I was about to make. That first half smacked of not having leadership.
Yeah.
And that's something that Tyrone Mings, who is still very young, must grow into and learn how to do, is to lead this team. Now, he did have John Terry as a defensive coach for the last 3 seasons. So he's going to need to take some of those lessons, bar sleeping with a teammate's wife, and lead his team accordingly. Because not only did they lose their most skilled player in Jack Grealish, Aston Villa also lost their captain.
Yeah.
There was a lot of debate over whether Mings or McGinn would have been better for the captain's slot.
When in doubt, always choose the Scotsman.
True, Scotsmen are pretty angry.
If you need somebody, if there's one thing to take from the Arsenal game, is there's nobody to grab that team by the scruff of the neck and put a boot up their ass to fix what's going wrong, right? On field. Patrick Vieira used to do that.
Right.
Roy Keane did that for United. It would come over to you, grab you by the throat, and if you didn't start playing well, he'd kill you himself,
Hey,
right?
Speaking of Scotsmen,
Yeah, I don't
big
think-
fucking dunk.
I don't think-
Exactly.
Say no to him on the pitch. I dare you. Say no.
I don't think being vice captain's going to stop from doing that. I imagine him and Mings, who already have a really good off the field relationship, will translate into like two-headed coin.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to say that someone's the captain doesn't mean that other people
No.
can't speak or lead. But, and also see point 2 about Scotsmen, they will not be told to shut the fuck up
No.
and know their place.
Yeah.
John McGinn will have a say in what happens in that team.
Yeah.
But he is their most senior midfielder now, and he's going to have to show it. And hopefully him and Mings together can push this team forward. Because, again, Mings is very young. He's got a big ask on his shoulders, becoming the captain now.
There's plenty of
Remember, of
this
this storied old club.
Yeah. The talent is there. They spent their money wisely. They've got a good team. I think they've got a very good team. I think they got a team that's good enough to press for the top 10 and possibly even Europe. But they're going to need to figure it out without Jack.
Well-
They've always had that crutch to lean on.
The other thing is one goal that Watford scored was lucky as shit. The other thing is you're not going to get a Cuchi Hernandez strike like you got when he came off the bench with his third touch.
Wow.
I mean, that was bro. His name's Cucho, by the way, not Cucci.
just went
I changed that.
I'm all right with it.
And
That is henceforth his name for the season.
Back to Watford. One thing that people are going to need to remember about Watford, they were in the Prem for a while. They only went down and they came right the fuck back up.
Right.
They're not a yo-yo team. They've been in this is like when Newcastle or West Ham had gone down and came right back up. They know what they're doing. The organization, it might not be coaches, but that organization has been there.
I'd say
Yes.
so 3 of those teams that you mentioned, yes. One of those teams, not so much.
So and so much that I didn't know this, but they went back to Z cars because they were like, "Oh, I'm still standing, sent us down. Fuck off." Sir Elton sent us back down to the championship, and then Sir Elton fucking almost lost our club financially. Nope, we love you. You're our boy, but nope, back to Z cars.
They could have picked like Crocodile Rock, like something more upbeat. I'm still standing. I don't like it.
Speaking of still standing,
I gotta do my shot of Malort. So here is to Mings and McGinn, the big ask and the big ass up the Villa.
Well done. That's all right.
Tastes like a pretty good season.
Tastes like optimism.
rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened, was anything but. Chelsea 3, Palace 0, Brighton 2, Burnley 1, Leicester 1, Wolverhampton 0, West Ham 4, Newcastle 2, Everton 3, Southampton 1. Sam, allow me to read the sentence about Chelsea and Crystal Palace.
Sure.
Exactly what Chelsea wanted, exactly what Palace didn't.
Exactly. They did lower their overall age, Palace. They did a couple of things. They're going to need to add some pieces before the end of the transfer window, very obviously. Patrick Vieira's got a big ask there to change the culture of the club in general, make them a lot less boring.
But it's a culture that needs to happen.
Absolutely it does.
Good, bad, or indifferent, you need to see this project out. This needs to happen. You heard that from Brad when he did our 20 for 20 show. this has to happen.
Yeah, and you may have to just take a season out of the Premier League. You know, you may have to just give Patrick Vieira the full 4-year term he signed or whatever it was.
But I also just feel like I still feel like even with losing 3-0 to Chelsea, I still feel like there are teams that are in far worse shape. We're going to get to 2 of them in this segment than I feel Palace are.
Right.
Now, but for Chelsea, exactly which one? Clean sheet. Multiple people scored from set piece, scored from open play. Did exactly exactly what you fucking wanted to do.
Absolutely.
Exactly what I said with fucking Liverpool. Exactly what I'm saying now. Exactly what you wanted to do.
I'm not sure what happened with Reece James, but Marcus Alonso just made his stake to start for Chelsea again. I mean, the Spaniard with the looks that kill and the body that does is
allegedly
struck a sweet free kick.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Was Reece James walking down the dark street late at night? Was Marcus Alonso driving? Allegedly,
it's terrible. But he made Vicente Guaita look like a jackass. Just completely rooted him to the spot. It was absolutely tree trunked. And then Chelsea, at that point, at 25 minutes, and finally rewarded for their opening dominance. Pulisic made it 2-0 after putting in a rebound from Timo Werner. It would have been a rebound, except for he missed his kick, and Guaita actually pushed the ball that Werner missed into the path of Christian Pulisic. And I just wanted to get that one in there, which is pretty funny.
It is pretty funny.
I actually wrote out in my notes, LOL. I was really proud of myself.
Very proud of yourself, aren't you?
But what I really wanted to talk about was a sweet, sweet strike from Trevor Chalobah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely brilliant. Every inch of 28 yards out. And his Premier League debut, young player, a lot of promise around him, a lot of talk around him. And he struck that ball as sweet as you could. And he found the far corner, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
It's one of those cases where defense sees a defender dribbling up the pitch, and they're about 25 yards out. And they just go, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, have a little pop.
Dare ya. They're like, yeah, he won't. He did. Put it in the back of the fucking net. Now, and then you're standing there looking at each other going, well, hold on. The pointing game. Weren't you supposed to go to him?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Is that the Spider-Man's?
You go. Why didn't you go to him? And the goalkeeper's just back there yelling at all of you. Go, really? The thought? Don't feel like defending anybody? Great. Thanks, guys. Good work.
The best part is Spider-Man's costume is the same colors as Palace's jersey. That makes it even better. But yeah, it was a marvelous strike. It was very well done. Now I hope he can live up to the next 15 to 20 games where every time he touches the ball, the Chelsea faithful will go, shoot!
Oh, absolutely. That's coming. All right, moving on. Seagulls almost get Burnley. And but you know what they did? They came back and won.
Yep.
Hold on.
They actually scored 2 goals in a game.
Burnley came back and won?
No, Brighton.
Brighton came back and won?
In my way downtown, walking fast. I'm a seagull. Go fuck yourself.
Amazing. Hold on. The system that Potter set up, it worked. It actually worked.
It absolutely did. Tarkovsky opened up the scoring, obviously, after shoving Neil Makeless to the ground. Almost as if he viewed him as lower class or of a lower socioeconomic status, as Matthew Guendouzi would say, and just shoved him to the ground. Surprised it wasn't a foul.
I was surprised it wasn't called either.
But was where he needed to be. Headed the ball in off of Ashley Westwood's corner. Mopé scored himself. Goodmanson hit the post. Ben Mee hit the crossbar, and Sanchez. Bit all over the place. Goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That was odd. He was pretty steady last season. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was fans being back in. I don't know if it was giving up the early goal, but he was kind of helter-skelter back there.
He really was. He really was.
But there you go. For all of Burnley's chances, they pulled a Brighton.
Yeah.
They couldn't kill the game off, and it came back to bite them in the ass when Alexis McAllister, the Argentinian lad, came in and scored off the bench. It was an astute substitution from Graham Potter.
I think this is when I told you there are other teams who are in more trouble than Palace. Burnley. Right.
Absolutely.
Here.
That was. I was trying to be rude to our friend on the show because it's funny, but I genuinely do worry for them. I think things are starting to stale there.
Yeah.
I really do. And his name
Dyche-
escapes me. I still can't remember it.
Brett.
Brett.
Two
No
T's.
N.
No
Got
N.
it. Yeah. All right.
Very good. Nicely
Sorry,
done.
Brett.
He was fabulous. He did such a great job.
No, he did, because he also took it on the chin because he knows I'm right.
They need
No,
to,
it's true. What are you shaking your head for?
They need to find some loans. There's good players out there on big clubs who aren't going to have an opportunity to play. Like, I'd say like a Ross Barkley. Like,
Yeah, they need something.
You need something.
They need some sort of creative presence. Somebody that's just going to have Ross Barkley is perfect.
Yeah.
They could have earthworms dusted with chalk, and him and Sean Dyche could eat lunch together every
Crayons,
day.
thank you.
Crayons, you're
Crayons very
right.
much.
Sorry. But he has no problem having a pop from 25 yards out.
Absolutely.
He can pick a pass occasionally, but they need to do something because that team is so stale.
Yeah, absolutely. Going on to the next one. Let's wrap these last three up. Leicester City and Wolves. Jami F'n Vardy.
Well, first, it was good to see Raul Jimenez back.
Yes.
Well done.
Jami F'n Vardy.
Because he's the rest of the story.
Hold on. Allow me to call him by his Christian name. Jami fucking Vardy.
The shithousery returns. I love it.
And a cheeky fucking, like the cheekiest goal. Because like a big hard man like that runs all over the fucking pitch and is just a fucking lunatic, right? Like, I mean, he may not be big hard man in stature, but he's got big dick
You don't
energy.
want to see him in the street.
He's a fucking lunatic.
You don't want to see him in the street.
And what does he do? Like a little cheeky flick. And even moved his body while he did it. Went like, whoop.
It's outside of his left foot facing away from goal. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And then runs over to the traveling Wolves support and howls at them.
Goes, woo!
And then when he was done howling, visibly laughed at them. He was cheesing, going, and then he pointed towards the stands and turned around and walked back to midfield. The shithousery is fucking brilliant.
I'm surprised he didn't just like do a jerk off motion and just like launch it at him. I mean,
The only thing that would have been better is if he pulled out a cigarette from his sock and smoked it.
it was just brilliant. It just, how is it like if Son did that, I'd be losing my fucking mind, but Vardy does it, I'm like, more right in my veins.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Give it to me. Give it to
I'm
me.
gonna freebase that thing. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
For Wolves, what's important to talk about here with Wolves, Prairie misses two.
Well, I was just about to say Jimenez needs to get on the fucking treadmill because Prairie cannot continue to play down the middle.
Yes,
For fuck's sake.
Prairie misses two very good opportunities. I think we are finally reaching the point with Prairie. All the talent's there, all the physical attributes are there. He's a hell of a player. It's all got to come together. I think this is make or break year for him.
Could be. I mean, he could very well end up at a shite team if it does not go well this year.
Yeah, I really do think this is it. He has to fucking do it.
I would tend to agree with that.
All right. Irons with 3 unanswered goals after the Geordies give away 2 1-goal leads, man. That game was fucking wild.
It was all over the place. I mean, Newcastle, for what they were worth, came out blazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they were on, and so did West Ham. I mean, they really were took blows at each other. It was great, but West Ham will be disappointed with Callum Wilson's opener, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As I can't remember who it was, maybe Craig Dawson got turned inside out. I think it was Craig Dawson by Alan Saint-Maximin.
Yeah.
And then Callum Wilson stolen between 2 defenders to get his header in. You'd think there'd be a little bit more done with that to be completely
absolutely.
fair. But other than that, I mean, there was a couple of decent goals. I think West Ham's third was lucky as shit, wasn't it?
Might have been.
Was that the one?
I was very focused on all the fans and not so focused on the game watching it.
Yeah,
Because
fair.
I was in the bar honestly, I was people watching.
Right. But yeah, no, it was wild. Jacob Murphy with a header as well. First time he scored in a very long time, I think. Jared Bowen scored. There was a couple of decent patches of play in this game. Ultimately, you worry about Newcastle because of the manner in which they fell apart again. Giving up 3 unanswered after taking the lead twice at home is not a good look.
Willock will make a big difference.
Yes, he will. There was a raft of this, and I want to see more of it. New transfers being paraded around on the pitch prior to kickoff of the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Happened to Joe Willock. Happened also to Rafael Varane at Manchester United.
Yep, absolutely.
Bring that back. I like that.
That's fun. At halftime, bring them out.
Gets everybody excited. Yeah, do a little wave.
It's pretty awesome.
And when they're young, Joe Willock sat in the stands in a Newcastle track top, which are the most beautiful thing in the stadium that day were those track tops. I loved those. Those were brilliant.
Yeah.
Sat in a Newcastle track top between his parents.
Oh, that's sweet.
Isn't that nice?
Very sweet.
Yeah.
So finally, Everton, exactly the way Everton wants it to go outside of the Michael Keane fuck up.
What was that?
Jesus.
What was he doing?
My God, that was horrible.
It was like short circuit.
You're sitting there, you're like, pass it. Oh, nope, he doesn't have it anymore. Oh, yep, he's in. Yep, that's a goal. Of course, the new guy from the championship scores on us. Of course.
For a quick second, I thought it was Taylor from the month of May. Some
mini
of you
one.
will get that.
Mini one.
Michael Keane had a major one there.
Yeah, no
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
But after that, you have Richarlison gets a goal and assist. You have a Decore with fuck me.
Yeah, what was that? the was a throw in or something came in, and it was one of the worst pieces of control I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
his legs seemed to short circuit. He stepped over it, it bounced off his thigh. It did, all over the place. They say, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna just have a hit." And then he absolutely leathered that ball up into the top corner.
It was throw into Coleman. Coleman chipped to Iwobi. Iwobi heads it to Decore.
That's what it was.
Decore kind of throws a little fit
like
around on the fit. And then boom, back of the net, rips off his jersey, hugging a fan who jumped out of the stands, like ran right up to him and like in his best big dunk, fucking just big old hug and bear hugged him. But Decore, you have Calvert-Lewin gets a goal off of a Richarlison assist. Iwobi helps out coming off the bench. Gray and Towson do exactly what you want them to do. Work hard, put the ball in the middle. Like for Everton, other than that fuck up, exactly what you fucking wanted. Like that's exactly what you wanted.
Absolutely.
Like much like we were talking about these other teams, like go out and do that. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Southampton in real fucking trouble.
Oh yeah, big time.
They
will
fucking
be
trouble.
encouraged, though, by their signing Armstrong. Mm-hmm. He obviously scored the goal. It was a pretty decent effort, that. And then he also had another left-footed volley later on that Jordan Pickford did very well to save, in my opinion, even though it was at a tight angle. He hit it with some real venom.
Yeah.
I think he looks very lively, that Armstrong.
Yeah, and what's great for the two of them, and I think that, Ward-Prowse will get them the ball, but there's the rest of that spine is pretty weak, and I'm worried about Southampton.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would tend to agree with that.
I'm worried about Southampton. I'm worried about Burnley, and I think there's a chance maybe two teams could stay up from promotion.
Yep. All right. It is time for everyone's favorite segment, Sure Money. Now, if you're new to the show, this is where Sam, myself, and our degenerate gambling friend Pat make surefire, safe bets guaranteed to win you a lot of money.
He writes jokes, Mel. Jokes.
So, I will go ahead and, Mel, if you would, please, because he's not calling in this week, as he's on vacation because we got our admin all sorts fucked up. I have an email from Pat.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Well, it's a brand new year. Another chance to hit it big or take out a second mortgage to pay back the next day loan service that is sucking you dry. Well, sorry for not being on the phone tonight, but I'm stuck in Schittsburg, Virginia, and the closest I get to a signal is seeing smoke signals from a campfire across the lake. So I'll make my first pick of the year pretty cut and dry. I'll take the Spurs-Wolves game in a draw at $100 to pay out $225. You guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you when I get back to civilization.
Not a bad pick.
No, it's not, actually.
Yeah. Pretty simple pick. I like that. That's actually a sensible pick.
Yeah, I don't mind that. And honestly, that's probably all he could get odds on, for the brief moment he had
a signal
for. It's the first thing he saw. You previously, and I assume you're going to keep this running as well, called yours the lock of the week.
Yes. Well, yes, that's coming. Hey, that's coming. That's coming.
Okay.
Very important to first know, while I'm very happy to do better than you for the second season in a row, I was still down, and that just isn't acceptable, Sam. Being down money, not good. Got to make cash, right? So I took the summer to catch up with a couple of my old handicapping friends, Willie Totu Spirelli and Harry Hot Take O'Hara. They helped me out. They focused me, learned a lot for them, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So with my first
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
It may be your segment, but it's still my fucking drop. 100% of the time, in theory, it works.
In theory.
100% of the time. I am going to go ahead and take Manchester United to beat Southampton with Jadon Sancho to score his first at plus 280.
All right.
Actually, here's the sad thing, though. Right now, it all sounds sensible. It really sounds sensible because we haven't made any bets and lost yet.
Of course.
So just give it time. It won't sound sensible anymore.
Yeah, for sure. And as I said, I just want to reiterate that these are surefire, safe ways to make money. So in my first four-way away day parlay of the season...
Commit to the bit.
I am going for a Brentford win at Palace because Brentford look good and Palace looks shit. Tottenham to win over Wolves because Ardama can't score. And I don't think Jimenez is going to be up to speed yet. Leicester to win over West Ham because Leicester looked pretty convincing even though they only scored the one goal. And United to win over Southampton away. And for some reason, the bookies are giving me plus $2,797.
You just swing it for the fences already.
Why not? Fuck it.
So, you feel good about this?
I do, actually.
Okay.
You know what I'd like?
What?
I'd like for you to hit the cha-ching again for me for that.
Yeah? Oh.
Money, baby. Sensible. Surefire.
That was an okay segment. I think they've been better in the past, but
here we go.
We'll grow. We'll get there. But you know what this segment needs? A fucking chicken. That's what it needs.
So Kitty really hasn't been around much this summer as she flew around the world catching up from COVID lockdowns. So this evening, she was very calm and relaxed, but the coop was a little dark. Now, I could hear some music playing faintly, but I couldn't quite make it out. I got her attention, and I gave her Brentford traveling to Brigian's Palace. That would be Crystal Palace for you newbies. And Kitty quickly waved her wings around uncontrollably as the music became much louder and the pounding drums rang in the coop. It was Phil Collins in the air tonight. And while I know that Phil is a huge Brentford supporter, and Kitty fancies the Bees to start their season 2-0. And there you go. Kitty would also like me to remind everybody to please remember, always gamble legally and responsibly.
Fucking chicken. We're sticking with that?
Yep.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
Now, in our next new segment, here is the championship roundup. We are
you don't say.
Yes, I don't say. We are giving a little light to our fallen friends.
Aw.
That have gone down and exited the Premier League and now no longer have that status.
Heart you fits.
And are now championship clubs. So obviously early in the season, we're not doing deep dives onto these teams yet. But an absolute boatload of teams come out of the gate with a win and a draw. I believe it's the top 8 are all sitting on 4 points.
Yeah.
But Fulham take the cake on goal difference, winning 5-1 away to Huddersfield this past weekend.
Oh, that's a nice win.
Which was huge, yeah. QPR kept pace, winning 3-0 at Hull City, and only trail, I think, by a goal on goal difference, which is awesome. And Sheffield United opened up their hopeful return to the Premier League with a loss and a draw, having not scored a goal yet.
Some things never change, unfortunately.
Well done, lads. But Scotty Parker's moving on seems to have freed Fulham up, and them getting Marco Silva playing a bit more of their free-flowing, fantastic football.
Parker's at Bournemouth now, right?
I believe so, yeah. But Mitro back on the score sheet in kind of unconventional fashion. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I did not.
Closing down the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper dwelled on the ball, tried to clear it. Mitrovic fell. The ball hit his knee. Didn't even go straight into the back of the net. It looped over the goalkeeper's head. And nobody was there, obviously, to clear it off the line.
That sounds exactly the way Mitro should probably be scoring.
And I think Marco Silva probably livid at it because he likes to play attacking free-flowing football as well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny. West Brom edged out Luton Town 3-2 after an opening week draw as well. So like I said, it is quite congested after 2 weeks in the fixture, after 2 fixture weeks in the books. I also did want to make a special note of Wayne Rooney and the situation at Derby County. He apparently has been sleeping at the training ground trying to figure out new signings and what to do with this team. Sure, it has nothing to do with the fact that Colleen asked him not to come home.
I was going to say, he's doing this alone, right? There's not someone with him?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But he had a 1-0 lead going into the 90th minute of their game, Derby County, and ended up giving up a 91st minute and a 97th, I think it was, maybe 99th minute goal to lose 2-1 to Darren Ferguson's Peterborough United in Fergie time.
A newly promoted Peterborough, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not going good for Derby County.
And it's Sir Alex's son, Darren.
Oh, it's not going good for Derby County, man.
And it's not going good for Wayne Rooney.
Not at all. How long do you think he has?
November tops.
Yeah, before they axe him.
Yeah.
It's just, wow, how the mighty have fallen. Is he still playing too? Is he still putting himself on the pitch, or is he just staying?
He might have to. Because they can't.
Just because they need someone that badly.
8 recognized first team players, I think. Something ridiculous.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I think it's important that we start checking in on the championship, considering that there are going to be 3 teams from this league in the Premier League next year. So
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah. So quick check in. You know, a lot of people that were in the Premier League, Fulham especially, showing us a lot of love over the last couple of seasons. So want to make sure we give them their just due as well.
Absolutely.
And continue to check in with them. So hopefully they come back up, the old Cottagers.
Excellent. Well, that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Sammy, any parting words?
Yeah, a couple of cons to call out this week, actually. Manchester United and Leeds supporters, Ray, and...
We'll get into that in injury time. I have thoughts.
Just want to make sure he heard it. No, but that's it. Just stop being fucking hooligans. That's why it's
not necessary. And by the way, don't forget about our West Brom people, and of course Nick, our wonderful Sheffield supporter. Can't forget them.
Of course not.
You're just giving it all up to the Fulham people. Got to remember the rest of our peeps. It will forever live in infamy. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Next up is Injury Time, where you're going to hear us review the beers we've been drinking, check in on the Ibs and Aki Stanley, and preview the weekend's action. Sam, how does one find Injury Time?
It's actually quite simple. Just open up your internet browser of choice and go to www.patreon.com/DUFootballShow and sign up to one of the top 2 tiers. That is a $5 tier or the $9 tier. Mel, why?
Because 10 is just way too much.
Damn straight. You sign up to one of those 2 tiers, you get Sound Check, our pre-show recording where we actually do check the sound. A lot of times it ends up in fun, like the 20 supporters super show you heard a couple of weeks ago, where you only heard us talking to 20 people and not 20 people talking back to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was brilliant.
I fixed it halfway through.
Oh, halfway through we fixed it? Okay, good.
I cut out the boring parts too.
Awesome. And then Injury Time, which is our preview show, our deep dive into the upcoming week, not just our bet.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Until next week.
Season 4, guys.
It absolutely is. Season 4.
Get it. Fucking come on.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Huston.
Sam Huston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right, the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malort. Looks great in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!